Oh, hello there, and welcome once more to my little cosy den of books and whatnot. Today we have a fairly small bundle of old books for us to peruse, but I think you'll be quite titillated by what I have on offer, if you know what I mean. Anyway, right, we have the Satanic Candle back in action. The bells will be playing shortly if all goes to plan, and we have our ale for this evening, which is a winter warmer. I purchased this from Sainsbury's. Taste the difference, or some bollocks, isn't it? Taste the difference, yeah. And it was going cheap because, of course, we are now into the meteorological springtime. So this stuff is going cheap. Nice little thing there, isn't it? They look like hobbits, perhaps, crowded around a little fire. That's the way I'm reading it anyway. Let's get that fellow off. Get a little sniff. Oh, I'm picking up burnt orange in this one. Burnt orange. Oh, hello, right. Fruity fig notes to give a lasting, delicious mouthfeel. I'm not sure about that. Anyway. Well, yeah, figgy on the tongue. But I think there is a slight orange flavour. I'm sure of it. Anyway, fuck all that. Right, let's get on with it. So you probably know what I'm going to be talking about here, because there will be a thumbnail, which I haven't created yet. But let's pop the first one out. So we are dealing with this particular book here, the Raven series, Swordmistress of Chaos, by Richard Kirk. The spine is a bit shagged here, but I'm just going to talk a little bit about this book and the artist that created the cover initially. I first came across this image as a tender young child, really, and it was in the bedroom of my uncle. That sounds fucking dodgy, but he was a big fan of fantasy, and he had various pictures around his room, and one of them was this one. So this image was created by the artist Achilleos back in 1977, and the painting was called The Mercenary. It blew my mind when I saw it first time. I imagine I had the beginnings of adolescent interest in the fairer sex, shall we say. And this little breast here popped its way out of the parchment and straight into my cranium. It's quite a globe-like breast, which interested me at the time. Anyway. Interestingly, this image was used as inspiration for Kate Bush's Babooshka video. In fact, the resemblance is uncanny. Up to this little band around the upper thigh here, holding a dagger, which Kate Bush brandishes while she's gyrating on the video. But an arresting image all the same. I didn't realise that this painting had been put into service upon this book until many years later, and I've seen it around and about on eBay specifically. But it's always fucking expensive, very expensive, these books. So there's a series of 5 of them, and I've got all 5 of the devils with me today. So this one I got was part of a series that there was 3 books. I think it was book 1, book 2 and book 4, something strange like that. And I got it for 30 quid, which isn't too bad actually. Some of the others, there's another one, I'll show you later, I paid 20 quid for, and another one £10, so £60 all in. But I'm hoping it will be worth it. If any of you have read these books, let me know what you think. As far as I know, it's a sword and sorcery with occasional sex scenes, as far as I've seen online. Nothing too cerebral going on with these books, nothing too clever, but hopefully worth a gander. Anyway, let's read this little blurb from, this is an original, I believe. Let's have a little check here. Well, 1978, so this could be when it came out, considering the painting was done in 77, but perhaps there are more learned readers amongst you that can tell me the veracity of that statement. But anyway, let's give this a little perusal. From out of the bonds of slavery there arose a warrior feared across all lands, a warrior whose blade was stained with the blood of thousands, man and beast, who smiled as she killed, with hair as gold as summer sun, eyes as blue as the heavens, and a body which invited only love, yet dealt bloody, merciless death to her enemies. Okay, so, right, former slave, one assumes of the sexual variety, and now she's hell-bent on chopping off as many penises as possible. What a wonderful idea. Okay, right, the bells have begun. Let's drink to that. Cheers, bells. Now, I've seen this book going for usually around £20 just for this one, so I did rather well, I think, getting it for £10 really. A very, very good condition as well. You probably can't see very well because of my fucking shit camera, but there we are. And we have a wonderful, wonderful map. Look at that. Now for me, this epitomises what I love about maps from fantasy novels from the 70s, primarily. I mean, it's nothing to write home about in a contemporary critique, shall we say. I mean, I've seen lots of modern examples of maps that are just beautiful, you know, they're really well done. But at the same time, I think something's lost when it's rendered too well, if you will. This has almost a hand-drawn, well, it's obviously hand-drawn. No Photoshop being used here. And there's an organic feel to it. It gives it a veracity of sorts. Various unpronounceable names going on there, wonderful. The Outlands is slightly more simplistic fare, though at the same time. Iron Mountains, Wastes of Nectar, the Southern Wastes, yeah, standard fare. But lovely, got a little island there of crag. Excuse me. God, this fucking ale. Oh my god. But inside, it's all rather lovely, I would say. Nothing untoward whatsoever. In fact, there's just a tiny little crease on this corner on the back cover. But other than that, I would hesitate to say this is pristine. Yes, very nice indeed. Right, let's give this one a sniff. So back from 1978, so this is 45 years old. So a year before my birth. Cast your eyes over those Bristols. That Bristol. YouTube may cause me problems with this video, but there we are. Let's dive in. Oh my goodness. This is a lovely one. Absolutely lovely. I mean, straight off the bat, we've got wood, obviously. I mean, it just goes without saying. But on top of that, there's a nice little veneer, as though it were a fine table. We have a little bit of walnut. Just walnut. Yeah, wonderful. Sweetness as well. Lovely. You could almost eat it. Okay, there's the first one done. Incidentally, I'm going to be doing a video at some point on some of my favourite artists from the 70s, fantasy artists specifically. And I'm going to be looking at Chris's work as well. Unfortunately, I only found this out last month, that unfortunately he passed away back in 2021. It's a terrible shame, because I've only recently realised he was the artist of these fine images. But anyway, right, so this is the second book. We've got a brazen chest here in all its glory. I mean, I don't know what the rules are regarding breasts on exposed breasts of this nature on book covers. I'm pretty sure it's completely verboten these days. I haven't come across any recently, but back in the 70s it seems to be fair game. And here we have the Swordmistress dealing death to some kind of beast. One imagines it has a penis worth chopping off. It's an arresting image, and she looks quite fearsome. God knows why her chest is exposed there, but yeah, I think it's probably to tailor to the interests of readers such as me. But there we are. Okay, A Time of Ghosts. Right, I won't read the blurbs of these following ones, but I think, as you probably agree, this is in wonderful condition. It has been read. I'm glad they've all been read. The back cover is pristine. Yeah, very, very nice condition indeed. Let's dip our toes inside. Again, it's absolutely fine. We've got the same map here. This same map appears in all 5 books, with only one exception, which I'll show you later. I don't know who illustrated the map. I very much doubt it was Achilleos, but there we are. Wonderful. No hidden spells or maps or banknotes, unfortunately, which is a shame. But there we are. Whilst you cast your eyes over that little beauty, I will sniff this for you. Ah, right, okay. This is quite different, actually. We've come across this before. It's a creosote, very similar to creosote, but also an armpit on a very hot day. There's something a bit unsavoury about that one, unfortunately. Ooh, that's warming me up quite nicely. Okay, so book 3 is a slight departure from titties. We are now in the posterior region. So this one is The Frozen God, the 3rd book. So this is the one I paid £20 for this one. One can only assume that bottoms sell books more readily than titties, perhaps, so increases the value to collectors. Is that, I don't know, is that a thing? I mean, some of these really are. I mean, it's quite gratuitous, isn't it? I mean, this Swordmistress has climbed up to some kind of icy pinnacle to do something here with this horrible toad-like creature, perhaps to pay homage, but more likely to cut off his knob, I would have thought. But the way she's climbing that stair with her arse thrust towards us is unseemly, and it doesn't do her any justice, unfortunately. But of course, the artist is aiming at randy men primarily. Still a wonderful image, and I quite appreciate it. I paid 20 quid for this, but it is, of the 5, this is the most battered, as you can see, but it's wonderfully aged, actually. I like a nice bit of age to my books, as you all know. So yeah, this back would normally be a nice kind of powder egg blue. Is that a name? Is that a name for a blue? I don't know, but it's been abraded there. Anyway, let's look inside. Yes, right. So I've proved this already. We have a ghost of a imprint there, and it's barely legible. But it's from a bookshop called Bookcase, 74 Seaview Road, Wallasey. So I think this is it Westward Ho or Weston-super-Mare, around that area. The bookshop no longer exists, but I imagine this was back from perhaps in the 80s. It had been resold on, so for 30 pence really. So that, I mean, they should have held on to that, because it was going to go up in value. Look at that, it's been sellotaped in, so the spine probably had some damage there, which has been repaired, but I don't mind. They've done a relatively good job, although they didn't do it in one strip. They've added another little bit down there, which is just barbaric, but there we are. Yeah, it's all lovely. Where's the map? Where's the fucking map? What? Well, I'll be darned, there's no map in this one. I don't know about this. I thought there was a map in all of them. I wonder if the seller liked the map so much they ripped it out and then sellotaped this back in. Or maybe the publisher forgot to put the map in. It's sacrilegious. In any rate, it's no good at all. Nothing else going on here. Just slightly more thumbed through than the other books, that's all. Anyway, cast your eyes over that. See what you think of her. Her position, her posture, and I'll sniff this. This is from another seller. Oh, that's getting. I'm getting something from this. Yes, that's what it is. Again, we're going around, we're dallying around different types of wood, really, but this is church pew. Lovely, aged, musty, slightly fecal type of wood. Lovely. Just itching my leg then, I wasn't tugging anything else. Okay, right, the fourth in the Raven series. Here we go. Lords of the Shadows. So, as far as I know, all of these covers were by Achilleos. Except for the last one, the fifth one. I'm not sure about that one. Oh no, it's the last one, the Frozen God. I'm not sure if he did that one. But I know he did all of the rest of them. Now, I paid £10 for this one. It's a really lovely image, actually. The full-sized reproduction of the original painting is far nicer, actually. Just the composition works a bit better, but obviously they're always having to cram it onto a smaller cover size. It's always diminished slightly, but it's a wonderful image, and the colours are far more vibrant. But again, this is quite an aged copy, and second to the Frozen God, this one has been through the mill somewhat. The actual condition of it's good. I mean, the spine actually is perfect, so it may not have even been read. But it has been tossed around a little. We've got a definite fold there on the side. And you can see some mottling on the cover, perhaps. And if we open it, you can see why. There's been a fair amount of damage here due to a damp, I would have thought. Looks quite unseemly, unsightly even. I'm thinking this will smell quite ripe. Right, okay, so the map returns, but it has been shrunk down to one page, which is a shame. I like the double spread, if you will. Bit harder to discern, but at least it's there. Okay, let's have a little flicky. Wonderful. Yes, it's all there, but nothing secrets, and there's no secrets in there. Okay, cast your eyes over that. And if any of you know of any way of cleaning this up a little bit, let me know. I would often use just mild detergent to wipe it over with, but I don't want to fuck it up. Anyway, let's sniff this. Let's have a look at this. Okay, this is from 1979. And it only smells of wood. Quite disappointing. Okay. The Last Raven. Again by Achilleos. Quite a nice image. A nice suggestion of movement here from this bull, jewel and gold encrusted bull here, but the young lady sat straddling this beast. She's rather just placed there really, and holding this great big flag, which is quite wonderful, I must say. Again, she's got her tits out. God knows why, unless it's explained in the book. Perhaps her power derives from having exposed nipples, but who knows? All of her weapons appear to have blood daubed upon them. This dagger by her thigh, and of course this one held quite rigidly in her right hand. she's been chopping off knobs left, right and centre, one would assume. Spine, I mean, it's been slanted, so it's been read in a jaunty angle, or manhandled somewhat. The back is quite nice. A pale kind of primrose colour. I imagine that was slightly more vivid back in the day, but it's been bleached by time. Got a bit of spotting here from similar damp, I would assume. Again from 1979. Good. Right, for the final instalment, the map is back where it should be, spread across 2 pages, like a gratuitous double spread pin-up or something like that. But yes, there's no illustrations of any cavorting young warriors within the book, which is a shame, and that would probably be quite nice. It says the end at the end of this one, so I'm pretty sure this is the final instalment. There's a little epilogue at the end there, but I'm not going to cast my eye over that. But you can cast your eye over this. I'm not sure whether to put stars in front of the titties or not. I might just let it go. Anyway. Christ. Yes, it's the same as the other one. It's a church pew. So perhaps a vicar had these, had them hidden away for his evensong readings. Okay. I've got a bonus one here. There may even be 2 bonuses. We'll see how I feel. Anyway, the first one, again, slightly naughty. Right, do you remember the film Planes, Trains and Automobiles? Absolutely brilliant film. One of my favourites, actually. I'm a big fan of John Candy anyway. But this scene in particular...
I know you, don't I? I'm usually very good with names, but I'll be damned if I haven't forgotten yours.
You stole my cab.
I've never stolen anything in my life.
I hailed a cab on Park Avenue this afternoon, and before I could get in it, you stole it.
You're the guy who tried to get my cab. I knew you, yeah. You scared the bejesus out of me.
Indeed, that book. And I thought to myself, I've wondered that for many years. Well, does that book exist, or was it merely a prop? Well, as it turns out, it did exist. But this is not it. So I saw this on eBay a few weeks ago. And I just thought, fuck, it's that. So I bought it. I didn't realise until it came that it's not. It's a kind of trivia book based on the film, which I think might be quite interesting because I really, really do like the film. And I believe people buy it just so that they can take photographs of themselves like John Candy at the airport, which I may actually do at one point, perhaps. It's in absolutely excellent condition. But I must say, it's similar to, I know this very well from my own books that I sell, that this is a KDP copy. So this is a book that Amazon have printed on demand, because the covers always curl up eventually, or it doesn't take long. If you hold it in your hand long enough, the fucker will curl right back up. So this is by an author, I presume, that's self-published or a small print, independent print. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into this. But it looks interesting. There's like deleted scenes and inconsistencies and bloopers, if you will, segments of the script. So that's the original version there. It's a scan of it. And then this gentleman, who is it? Mark Leslie. He commissioned various possible alternative covers to reference it, but in the end just went for a scanned version of the original book. But interestingly, look, it's starting to curl now. Look at that. Interestingly, you can get the original book. So some person found it and they scanned the whole thing, and you can buy a reproduction, an exact reproduction, including all spelling mistakes and mistake or various things that are wrong with the typesetting and all of that. So I may buy that at some point. Oh, fuck it, let's sniff this one and see what it's like. Yeah, cast your eyes over that. I don't think the cover's very well done, to be fair. It's very bleached out. The saturation is completely wrong. But anyway. Oh. See, normally, KDP, the Amazon print-on-demand books, smell of fish bones. But this one smells of MDF. Do you know that? Medium density fibre. That cheap shit that stinks when you cut it. But there we are. I tell you what, let's do one more. I wasn't sure whether to show this or not. But perhaps it's fitting. Who knows? I'll get it out. Okay. Shamelessly, it's my own book. So here we are. This is my own one. This is how the paperback looks if you haven't already seen it. Does it do the curl thing? Of course it fucking does. But there we are. Brown Robe Blues. Can't even fucking say it myself. And that's how it turned out. My camera's oversaturating it. It's not as bad as that. It actually looks better than I thought it was going to look. The spine, absolutely dead centre, which I'm over the moon about. We've got the blurb on the back on a piece of old parchment. There's a pie, some coins, and a fucking dagger. I'm going to read you the blurb, just in case you haven't heard, but you probably have, but I'll read it anyway. Welcome to the city of Melodorn, once the envy of the civilized world, now a hair's breadth from resembling a cesspit. The palace is the dull gemstone that glitters from its centre, the rest of the city sprawled at its feet like a soiled garment. It has its affluent quarters, its rough quarters, and its downright deadly quarters, and more taverns than you can shake a stick at. Enter Tarek Nimblefoot, failed wizard, heavy drinker, prestigious pie-eater, and the reluctant hero of our tale. We join him on the morning after his 40th birthday, hungover and late for a most important event, for today is the trial of choosing, his last chance to enter the hallowed and venerated ranks of the magisterium. He's failed every attempt so far, but hangover or no hangover, he's going to give it his best shot. Unfortunately for him, the gods have other plans. Before long, he finds himself embroiled in a plot to end the world as he knows it. Oh, God. Anyway, I'll just very quickly flick through. There's an advert there for my YouTube channel. Hello. We've got the title page. We've got my other books here. This one, The Last Magician. I still haven't written that yet. But I've put it there anyway. I dedicated it to my brother, Mark the Blade. Some of you may know of him on my gaming channel. He comes over quite often. And there's the map. I mean, compared to the map in the Raven books there, this one is a bit clean, isn't it? It's not as rough around the edges as I would have liked. But I tend to be a bit of a perfectionist, so I like my lines to be nice and clean. But there we are. Anyway, here we are, Brown Robe Blues. Oh, let's sniff it. Hello. Yeah, well, it's similar. I mean, it's a tiny bit of milk. But gluey. Yeah, gluey. Not particularly pleasant, but there we are. You're not really supposed to sniff mine. Yeah, anyway, cheers. Right, so that was today's little mini haul. I've got enough books to do, perhaps, well, 2 more, I would say. I've already spent as much as I Well, I've spent a lot, let's put it that way, in 3 months. So that's... I've got to hold back a bit because I bought another 2 books yesterday. It just keeps going. It's fucking boiling in here. It's the satanic candle. It's because I haven't lit it for a while. It's really angry. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. And if all goes to plan, I will be here next week with perhaps a book review. How about that? We'll see how it goes. Anyway, cheers and cheerio.